We lost, we'll try and shake things up, but there is only one way to find out. It's Team Liquid Citadel, the #1 team in the region against Yeah We Lost. Guys, enjoy this one.
Oh, Vicky, you know, as a bold man, and I was the only one that picked Yeah We Lost yesterday, I'm going to be honest, I'm not bold enough to pick them here in my predictions to win against TLC. I do have them falling, but hey, there's no one that would love it more. Let's go and jump into this ban phase, and again, we see how teams try to attack TLC and what they want to do. It's going to be the Elsa for Yeah We Lost. I think that's obviously a great staple pick, getting both Gambit and Elsa underway. Okay.
I was going to say, Cozy, you sound like the proud dad when you get to see Yeah We Lost and you saw them win yesterday. You're like, I called it. And then now you have to see them deal like with the school bullies. And with the Ultron Protect from Liquid Citadel's side, this is obviously something that we've seen Speedery flex over to here too, and it also highlights the flexibility that this team has in general. Look at that! They banned the Mantis after seeing the Protect on the Elsa. Once again, everybody, this is kind of how it starts in the pick and ban phase. It's either one team bans Elsa, or both teams ban Elsa, or one bans Gambit, or the other bans Elsa. So it goes back and forth, usually between those two heroes.
Yeah, absolutely. Funny enough. And there's the Strange ban as well. Hello. Someone's been watching some of these matches. You know, Kendrick, what's great about this team is they all kind of flex to different roles at different times. We've seen some go to healer, to tank, and it's interesting the way that they play. Again, it's just obviously non-conventional in the lineup, but also the role selection. Got the Vanguard being banned in terms of the Deadpool. Going to be saved on over to the Daredevil. Love the save for Jitward here. Really just going to open up guns a-blazing. I think they had Daredevil last time, though, against the Domination. Didn't go so hot, but again, new map, new day, new Yeah We Lost. Last ban for Liquid Citadel. What do you think they go with?
Seeing at least with the Daredevil Protect, it's going to be the Hulk. Okay, I like the respect because we saw Cart going absolutely crazy. That is respect that Liquid Citadel is not only showing to Yeah We Lost, but also showcasing the homework that they did after watching yesterday's matches.
No, for sure. And hey, listen, this team believes in their duelists, right? Yesterday, Zatex and Jitward were the ones that got it done for them in a lot of ways. Cart obviously is the master staller, right? So we'll see him flex on over. My expectations is to probably the Venom potentially here. Invis going to be saved on the side of TLC to secure that backline after some went towards it. And here we go with the White Fox ban as well. They're locking in for Krakoa. Folks, this could be one of the craziest matches, or expected. We'll see how it turns out live in the Hellfire Gala, Vic.
It's midnight here on the East Coast, and we've gotten our invitations, Cozy, to our last series of the day here in Americas, guys. Team Liquid Citadel, the Titans of the Americas region right now, facing off against the wild card of a team. Yeah, we lost Jitward. He's got free reign over the Daredevil, while Zatex gets away with the Elsa. Again, those prior bans could also kind of be a bait and punish that we see a lot of teams, sometimes they talk about it, but, you know, display it here, too, in the pick and bans when it comes to that first ban, too.
Vicky, all I got to say, too, it's like TLC, they all got to play what they want. Maybe not Spark, but to have Paulie on the Captain America, energy on the Psylocke, this is going to be fun because obviously we highlighted Kraz a lot in our last matchup as Captain. Didn't really get to see him play after that domination, a lot of it. But Paulie, one to watch, keeping Steve Rogers all a part of this pro meta single-handedly. Nero, too, such a dangerous Jeff as we saw yesterday. But Kendrick, we saw the White Fox, the Jeff from his side of things as well. Yeah, we lost as a team based on momentum. They play loose and aggressive. Let's see how Card decides to open it up. Getting a nice little bunny hop there on the Venom.
Gotta be able to close in the gap just as quickly with the bunny hop tech here as Cart. No Hulk needed. Just with the Venom is going to be able to try to dive down, but diving right on top of the entire team before swinging away, was forced to pop the armor rather early. And I like how you did touch up on Paulie being on the cap. We did see that Vanpool going crazy, which is why it was a prio ban, as Yeah We Lost also doing their own set of homework. Area is going to be unlocked now here on the point, and the fight begins here. Cart is going to take a good amount of that damage, but I also have to highlight Matt's me on the Thor, sticking true to being the only Thor that we've seen.
Yeah, Xantho did such a good job yesterday, even in the losses they had early on. But here comes the early tank pool or strap pool from Cooper. Energy going to go to get rid of Jitward very quickly. And now, just like that, the dominoes are falling. Zatex goes as well. So even with the first bit of momentum going, Yeah We Lost way, TLC hold strong. Paulie wants a piece of it as well. You see that fist symbol, that melee, oh so lethal. And you know what? We can't even get the first point cap before the heat is rising in Ignite, Vicky. Oh boy.
I'm not so surprised. You know what? It's just the calm before the storm. As we get set up, guys, thank you so much for your patience. We're going to be waiting out on this pause to make sure everybody is loaded in. You know what? Caster, start the game. Start the game. Don't worry. We're getting it started here, but it's the players that make sure that they have to lock in because, Cozy, this is the winner side of the bracket. $50,000 USD prize pool split up amongst these teams. And right now, when you take a look at the competition, especially after our last series, it's like whiplash compared to the first two series that we had to open up our Americas region.
Yeah, no, for sure. And it's just fun to see how this America scene is shaking out. Again, just looking at these two teams, like what it reminds me of, if you're a sports fan at all, is like when you see teams do like trick plays and it's crazy and it works against a lot of people. I think that's what people keep saying about we lost. Even in the interview, they said, no, listen, I know you might think it's just a quick flashy play, but they're here to show that it works. Can it work, though? Can the trick play work against such the vet group that is the TLC? Obviously, first point cap definitely going over to Liquid Citadel here as the last two wipes that we did see. Mask going to go over to the Thor and Xantho getting hit pretty early, too. But it all starts with that one pick, and then they just go from there. And one of the most lethal at it is Energy himself. Doesn't matter if you get rid of the Elsa, the Star-Lord just as lethal.
Yeah, I was going to actually ask you, Cozy, do you think Mask sticking to this Thor is the play? Because I feel like, if anything, there's so much pressure on the Vanguard side of we lost when you have to try to diff that of the Vanguard lineup of Liquid Citadel, like Paulie being the prestigious cap and then popping off on the Vanpool that we saw just yesterday, and then Spark Chief too, and then we've obviously seen Cart have their highlight moments, but it's about consistency, and then Mask still kind of rolling out of the gates with that Thor. I was wondering, like, what your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I think it's decent for some of the appeal that they might want to have and some of the aggressive nature to follow up with it. It's definitely an interesting pick that I think kind of they went in early on with. I don't think it'll last past another wipe. I think they at least run it one more time, but that's what we're talking about when it comes to traditional things. But maybe with the way that Spark Chief and Paulie play, most Vanguards, right? Obviously being space makers is one thing, and then being that front line, well, they're ever since the word of space makers. They are constantly at the back line causing them. I don't even see Paulie on the cams half the time because he's just back throwing shields. Jitward flying away for his life. That's the typical Paulie way when we do get to see him on the cap.
Yeah, I mean, they don't have an invisible one if you're looking at Liquid Citadel, which sometimes could be the demise when it comes to dealing like with a Thor and you're trying to get away, but then you get pulled back into the action. But you do have the isolation that could come out as Cooper being on that triple strat lineup together with that strat pool, and then you have the team up that you have with Nero being on the Jeff. Like, as we keep mentioning too, you only have so many pick and bans here, and the flexibility that Liquid Citadel have answers to a lot of maybe these unknown compositions that we could expect We Lost to roll out with. And even when you're trying to enable Zatex, who gets away with the Elsa, remember, we saw that Mantis ban, so you still will not have the damage boost impact that we have seen in other games.
No, sure, that's a good call out for sure. I mean, I think, first of all, we're just getting started, so we don't get a huge look at it. I think We Lost, though, they've showed that how this first domination goes, kind of like 100 Thieves. That's kind of how some of the matches is going to go to follow, outside of obviously what yesterday had in store for us. But yeah, I mean, I'm just excited to see the way that they adjust, because Jitward on the Ultron obviously already interesting already. But that is what I want to see from We Lost, is if things aren't going their way, you just point out the Thor as an example, like what are some of their backup plans? Because they like to go triple strat a lot as well in different matchups, but all the stocks were purchased for the duelists, right? Both the saves and what they wanted to, game plan. Zatex getting a wipe second there is not what they can have, especially with the Elsa. That's the upper hand that they're going to need to have. But if you look at TLC, Vicky, that whole team, look at that comp. They're all so hyper mobile.
Yeah, and I feel like there's also been like so much focus on Jitward as a player too, right? You talk about it all the time. Once these MRI matches are done, Jitward is going to be... And hopefully he's got like his LAN cable plugged in to make sure everything is going to go just as smooth when it comes to matches that determine what money is on the line here for this team, a team that has gone the distance. But I'm looking right now, it looks like the game has commenced, Cozy, and we are diving right into the action. You talk about some of the picks that we saw very early on. Kendrick will be coming back from the spawn room gates, and in ult economy, you see Spark Chief already close to that vis-a-vis Abyss, and then the follow-up between Speedery and Energy too with those ultimates.
Yeah, I think Jitward got a rank game in between there just in case, just to, go ahead and brushing up on the skills. But yeah, there's the quick point on over. And look at this comp as well. This is such a great defensive comp with the early point pick, Paulie, here on the edge. Look out for the sprays, because Paulie's known for that with his animation cancels at a minimum. Spark Chief getting frozen every CC at him. Car going to find some value getting Cooper out early, but there's a good rotation, and PL Galartrox coming out. And to my point exactly, Vic, Zatex has got to lock in here if you want a chance to beat this so talented team. Unable to get the connection there on the Galartrox. Huge ult wasted, and back to the spawn.
And when Speedery has the backup that Speedery has with energy flying up in the air, Nero being right behind them, Cooper too to provide some of that extra backup, it's going to be hard to go toe-to-toe with Speedery. So Jitward actually swaps off the Ultron, goes over to the Daredevil. Santos is going to open up the dance floor just so that way they can try to push in through this choke and also negate the damage from energy. But no way! Outside of the AO healing, they call out Zatex, Cozy.
Once again, just having the permanent vacation back there, the Krakoa spawn room, and they all just fold to boot. So this is what I'm talking about. What do they do from here? Because it is not working clearly. Kendrick just jumping off to join his team without any bit of stagger. And this is what we expected to see from TLC. Absolutely flawless in so many areas. But here we go. Yeah, we lost. Trying to find a will in a way. They typically like to adjust, though, after the map, Vic. That is always seeming to be a bit of an issue, or at least after one zone, right? We saw that with Jitward. No changes being made. Energy flip, dip, dodge, and roll here. 53% already when it looks like he just put the legendary out on Zatex. Already up to 99% overtime ticking. Zatex does get the pick on Paulie. This can open up a little bit of the sustain. Can they get the point cap? They do. Even though energy trading with Zatex, the point cap great, but 1-2, he's picking them off like flies. Make it 3. Energy is looking for more, Vic, even with the point over 2. Yeah, we lost. At this point, just try to sustain as long as you can. You even portal. Oh, you can't portal back. The Strange is gone.
Oh, yeah, nope. Unfortunately for we lost. The Strange was banned against him, which is super important, by the way, in Dom, as we were highlighting so much. In general, Spark comes floating in off the swing and finds 2 more back-to-back. Liquid Citadel, they gave we lost a crumb, and they took the whole meal away from them. They flip it right back in their favor, but there's no portal, which means we are going over to another round unless the contest could come in, and it doesn't. Paulie's going to be able to harass Jitward. You talk about some changes, Cozy, and they have to go down now as Liquid Citadel take that first round.
I love the Strange ban, because you can only get away with that, right, if you're a team with mass talent. Obviously, you're getting rid of like 2 birds with 1 stone, a great Strange player on we lost. But also, just no shenanigans, right? Like, they got the point cap, they allowed that in, but no portal comeback, sustain, none of that. And just like that, TLC taking dominantly the first zone of domination. Jitward does have the Devil Cart to join. Hey, I'm not crazy here. Mass did play well at the back half, but I can tell you one thing, right? Yeah, we lost yesterday because of the way they won. They're not going to so fast change everything, right? We over and over said, change the bands, change the lineup. That's not the way they play, right? They sometimes like to go ice skating uphill, as Blade would say. 10 seconds to open up these doors. Looking at the ults, Vic, what do you like?
Right now, with Jitward at least letting the Devil out, they could get the follow-up with Cart also having the anti-heal potential, but it's not like Nero and Speedery have that sustain, especially with Cooper at the very end, who did use that Strap Pool ultimate, but we also know like Deadpool gets that ultimate online very quickly, which is what they're also leaning into, as Spark also wants to try to follow up and make sure that, we lost, don't get that same amount of sustain, because Kendrick and Santos and Jitward are also a little behind after Jitward made the swap, gets rid of the Daredevil ultimate, and with the Galactic Legend, energy floats right on top of we lost his head, and they drop like flies.
Just an absolute delete button happening right now, and history is repeating itself in every sense of the matter. And this is why when we talk to Liquid Citadel, we say, oh, looking who you're up against, looking at the name. That's how you can kind of get caught off guard as the #1 team. We've seen it happen all the time, especially in America. Hague today in the EMEA, right? However, this team looks all the bit locked in. Here's the Deadpool ult on the other side as Cooper now going to go ahead and throw down the strat. There's the Galartrox. They got to get value. Paulie's going to be stuck in it, but health at a maximum. Galartrox going to do absolutely nothing but go back to the spawn like the rest of we lost. Underway. Energy. Paulie finding more. Vicky, this is a massacre.
It is. We lost even try to go for like a cheeky back cap to at least split up more of the attention. But with Jitward having the extermination, all desperate measures. Cooper and energy. Someone needs to look at energy right now. No one is contesting energy, and they are just farming the heads off of we lost.
Yeah, I mean, just absolutely Perfect play there, execution. They have so much on the Q buttons. They're just winning in the neutral, Vic. That's what's so chaotic about it as well, right? And allows you to be set up for success for the rest of it. 54% now as Paulie looking to try to get rid of the hardest part of this sustained comp of Cart. Cart now halfway, going up. Xantho going to go ahead and enable the team. They've got to win this fight right here if they want any chance to bark back. They're going to use trying everything at it. Spark Chief going to go up, down, the piece of the abyss in the collapse of Paulie with it. Here comes the Jeff as well as Nero finds something. Cart and the Vanguards get it done. Finally getting something going for the team. Does Nero escape with his life? Looking like he does so once again. These stretches so tough to take out. Energy gone as well. It's like we're celebrating the Super Bowl. We lost get the point they do.
It helps out too when the Itch Jeff also takes away some of the heals onto Energy, but they were down in numbers, and this is the kind of momentum rule that we were talking about before. Even though this is like the first team fight win that we see We Lost take, this is where it has to start. You're looking at Zatex, who's about to have the Glartrox right now, Jitward with the Extermination. They can try to hold them at this choke. Cooper will have the sustain, though. It all depends on how quickly Speeder he gets Extermination, but even faster is Energy trying to go for a cheeky play after making the swap over to the Psylocke.
Yeah, when you get the Elsa and they give it to you, they're saying, hey, we're not afraid of it. And you have to show them why they should be, as Zatex does just that. Nero going down, that's a quick pick, and that's going to have now TLC. Watch them rotate completely out here, right? They know they're down numbers, but wait, back cap, look towards the point. Hello, we lost. Somebody there trying to get it. If my guess is correct, maybe Paulie or Spark. Now Speeder getting Zatex out of this thing. Trying to stay in it. Paulie now pushing forward. Going to go ahead and challenge Jitward. Jitward trying to find that safety. Does have the flake to try to be a little bit on the aggressive side. Mask showing his Asgardian side. Once again, awakened form. Trying to get more pressure on Spark Chief. Vanguard's everywhere, Vicky. Nowhere is safe. And down goes Jitward.
With being able to get that pick, though, now, Cart does have a piece of the Abyss. The dance-off to keep We Lost still in this fight, nearing 70% on the point in favor for We Lost for right now. But you have to be careful now with the anti coming out. The other anti from the other side did land on Energy. There was no follow-up. Meanwhile, there's all the follow-ups from Liquid Citadel, specifically from Paulie right now that has something else to say.
He can do this all day. There's the spray. My God, 87%. No Doctor Strange. 12% to go. Someone's got to get there. It's going to try to be Cart, though. He's coming back late. Going to be tough for someone to put that pressure on early. Cooper wants a bit of the action as well. Finds it with the icon throw. Goodbye, Xantho. And all of your chance to survive. This is going to be Kendrick throwing up the ult as the last bit. But Jitward and friends go down. Spark Chief farming. The whole team absolutely cooking. Citadel looking on top.
With the freedom charger from Paulie, oh, Captain, my Captain. Meanwhile, Spark says, I want in on the boat. He clears another set here. Nero gets the Imp, the environmental KO. And with no signs of life, Liquid Citadel, they take the first map.
I want to get like a site going where we can see like the fastest point takes in Ignite or the fastest map wins. Because then you could get like a speed run thing going for some of these matchups. And then maybe that will keep it exciting in some way, shape, or form. But Energy getting that MVP. Honestly, the biggest shock of this matchup was that Cooper, who's been farming those MVPs, didn't get this one here as a team. Looks dominant. And looking at the stats, Spark Chief, are you kidding me? Absolutely finding all 12 of those final hits. 9 to follow from Paulie as well. The Vanguards, they were eating. And Vic, I talked about this. Some teams have tried to ban them out. They let them free, and look what happens.
Exactly, because they just have the option to they have so many other options that they could lean into. I mean, I was really looking at We Lost to see if they could even deal with the Star-Lord when Energy was on the Star-Lord originally, but it's the fact that Spark Chief did not go down a single time here, Cozy.
Absolutely. Well, they'll look to reload and adjust as we will as well, my friends. We're going to go ahead and take a quick break and then on to match number 2 between We Lost and Liquid Citadel.
Welcome back, everyone, to Marvel Rivals Ignite. It's the preseason playoffs, and are we going to have yet another speed run? Cozy, you said maybe we should start timing it. I think you might be right. That's going to be my job, I think, for this next game, to see if it'll be as quick as we had previous from Swamp Gaming. But we know there is different avenues that we could see them take here. If they would like to try and get away from the Dom, obviously, they can now move into something they might be a bit more comfortable with. Where do you think we might head up? Maybe a Museum of Contemplation, perhaps, here, Cozy?
Yeah, I think that's probably where they're going to take it. Last time they tried to go with Shin Shibuya, got 1-0. That didn't work. You know, for me, too, it's a lot of the comp-wise. I think so what's interesting is when Hulk goes out the picture, Cart takes the Venom. That's where Jitward likes to play as well. I'm curious why Jitward doesn't go with the strap pool here. I think I like that a bit better than the Ultron indoors against the Spark Chief Venom. That wasn't working. For me, that's where I want to see them try to adjust to it. But they do play a lot better on modes like Convergence, and I think that we could definitely see that be the possibility. But hey, listen, we saw We Lost look just like this yesterday, and we saw the result to it. So we'll see how it... Oh, look at that! We are all surprised, right, Gaskin?
Yeah, surprise! They have had 4 picks so far this season. 3 of them have been Museum of Contemplation, so we're not really surprised too much. But the real question is, can they get the job done against TLC, Vicky? Because it looked a little bit rough at times from We Lost. They did look a little bit lost at times. I mean, we have seen that happen in a few games, but then they did manage to break it back through. I saw Jitward on Ultron at one point just in a room with his forehead touching the ceiling and wasn't having a great time. Like, is it going to be just frustration central for Jitward because they've got such a good backline and it's going to be difficult for him to try and break through, especially if he's shoved on an Ultron, for example?
Yeah, the thing is, at least, like, you have a lot more vertical space to play with, right? Because Jitward on that Ultron, when he was stuck in that side room, he just took all those hits from the Venom. He was not even fighting back. His focus was on sustaining the team. But, like you mentioned, like, when we saw We Lost lose out on Celestial Husk versus NRG, they chose this map, and they dominated. Of course, we could also see maybe some cheeky routes if the Daredevil works out even better this time around, if Jitward needs to get something going. And as you guys already mentioned, the Deadpool, that flexibility that we've also seen. I also need to highlight, like, the strap pool that we just saw from Team Liquid Citadel showcases, again, more flexibility, a lot of damage output that you have to consider when it comes to the pick and ban phase, which I didn't even dislike, right? Like, We Lost didn't have a Strange, though, which was very important to note, and it could trickle down into scaring them looking at the pick and ban phase, getting ready for this game.
I think that does speak volumes about We Lost, though, and the Strange being removed, and we've seen how good they can be with Doctor Strange as well here, Cozy. But, I mean, as a team, they must be looking at this matchup saying, look, we need to at least show that we can match up against the biggest and best teams. Because if they get 3-0'd here, then people are probably thinking, okay, We Lost are just in that tier below. They need one map, surely.
I mean, hey, one map on a team that hasn't dropped one would be huge for them. But, you know, I have to say, for them, they put all their stock on the Protect for the Duelist, right? I think you give Zatex Phoenixer, you let the Elsa be banned, you get the Protect on probably the Hulk for Cart. I think that really opens up things. They've done that before. Dang it, I mean, almost protect the Strange, right? Like, they love their Strange, and it does give you, like, a fighting chance, and sometimes fights you're not supposed to win. But that's what I would like to see, because the Vanguards did well. I think Cart and Mask, although not exactly, you know, I think Mask was like 4 and 7 on that last one. But when it came to their damage output and what they brought to the table, I think they did okay, enable them more. And I think Jitward and Zatex, they're talented enough that they can flex around to other picks. That's personally what I would like to see from this next, pick ban phase.
Sorry, that was a big noise. That was me. That was my shield. It just
you're great.
Started doing a little bit of ring. Vicky, in terms of this squad, though, TLC I'm talking about, like, everything just feels like it's second nature for them, right? Like, they don't look like they're breaking a sweat. They look very comfortable. If you're able to take them out of their comfort zone a little bit, do you think suddenly that changes? Because I do think a team like this with Jitward, for example, I would rather see him get thrown on someone that can actually dive on that backline. But maybe we'll see as we've got the locks and bans ready anyway, and Jitward perhaps will get a little bit more freedom to jump into it. So I will allow you two to take this one away. Can we see a fight back from We Lost, or will TLC keep their dominance? Take it away.
Thank you so much, Gaston, because Cozy, he really said it, right? Like, he said it from the very beginning, you don't want to see the Ultron when you have the potential that Jitward has, because obviously, like, the Ultron could shine, but not when you're getting dove on and having to focus on so much of the damage output that Liquid Citadel, who, by the way, continues their perfect record thus far.
Yeah, and we see them go with the exact same Protect there on the Elsa. It's going to be in the later half of it. Now, Ultron going to be banned on over. So very interesting first couple of bans. I think we see TLC is just going to completely close the door on the strategist front and maybe even more. You got to ban Mantis here as well, looking at what they're trying to roll with. If you are, yeah, we lost. So I would personally go with most likely shutting down their top options. I mean, you got Elsa already out of the way. They're thinking about it down to the last second. They know that everything is going to ride on this. Mantis probably going to be the pick. That's what you have to start with, right? Because that protect is coming up any moment. What do you think they go with the last one here? Because again, there's so many options, but I mean, Star-Lord, I don't hate.
I don't either, but remember, this is also like a map that's pretty good for flanking angles and getting information if you do run out with the Daredevil, which is actually what I was afraid of if Liquid Citadel was baiting the fear with the Protect on the Ultron to force out like the Mantis ban. Obviously, like Liquid Citadel have to ban the Mantis when they see the Protect on the Elsa once again, kind of like that bread and butter of what to see when we see the pick and ban phase. The Star-Lord is going to be off the table here. The Protect on the Invisiwoman I like, because now, yeah, we lost, still technically have access to the Gambit if that's something that Liquid Citadel don't want to rely on for, or rather, sorry, Liquid Citadel had banned out the Gambit. Something is like, yeah, we lost, need to consider if that's going to be their final ban.
I wonder if they go with the Daredevil ban here, because it would kind of work with their route they're going. Okay, it's going to be the Gambit as well. If they allow it that free through the picks and the saves, why not get rid of that on Cooper? He can flex so well, but obviously giving Gambit opens up a world of chaos, right? With Rogue and more. The save last is going to be Invis, so not going to be over to the Vanguards at all. They're going to go with comfort picks there for their Strategist and Zatex. There's the Strange ban. Goodbye, Portals once again. That means, yeah, we lost have to be perfect in these fights. And Vicky, that second point is so hard without a portal.
It is, and that's what I was worried about, Cozy. I was wondering if that Doctor Strange ban was going to come out. We see it, and that being the final ban is going to be something that, yeah, we lost, have to consider when it comes to these rollouts to at least continue overtime ticking away if they get contested here. Now we get to linger on our second map here with Liquid Citadel dominating in that first map. Paulie has the world here to rely on when it comes to the Van Pool, still available for him, as well as the Captain America. So you also have that flexibility if Paulie wanted to, because that prioritization was onto that Mantis and Elsa instead, because that's something that, yeah, we lost just didn't want to deal with when it comes to a lot more of these open sightlines.
I'm just shocked that they banned the Ultron, right? Because, you know, I'm glad Jitward's off of it, to be honest, whether it's banned or not, but that's where it went. Daredevil being showcased. If he does go the Deadpool, guys, just look at the logo, because he switches early and often, sometimes having someone farm up all that XP for them. We're going to be on the Devil. Everybody on their comfort picks for the most part. I do like Cart here on the Venom to open things up, but they have the picks available later on in this first point. Zatex has got to lock in. This has been the anchor for this team to get all that space when needed. In those big clutch moments, we get eyes on Jitward, the lawyer, Matt Murdock, looking for the first assassination, calling out now the entire lineup and positioning as well. They're going to go rotate together. You've got Mask, Jitward. Yeah, we lost Nose. They need to win this one here. As Xantho going to keep the team up healthy now. As you've got, once again, Cart diving in and forced to pop the shield, almost down, all the way maximum value. Jitward in the back line. They dive together. Ready, set, go, comms. Cooper, goodbye. Both lanterns and survivability. And this is the yeah, we lost that we know we see here on the Museum of Contemplation, Vicky.
This is how it all started, Cozy. This is where they won in that map 2 versus Energy. That's why we were expecting this, and definitely not Shinshibuya after the outcome we saw between these two teams. And this is all about the adaptation that Yeah, we lost bring out. Also, goes hand in hand with what we mentioned with the Daredevil on Museum of Contemplation. Not only getting information, too, for the rest of the team, but when you bait out those lamps, you also force out some swaps onto Liquid Citadel.
Absolutely. One team has access to the magic portals, and that is now Energy. Going to go and switch on over. Mask going to throw down the banhammer early, looking at it, and that's going to be a literal deletion of the Ultron. Goodbye, as Xantho finds more. So this is just the comfort zone that we find ourselves in. This team is just such a snowball team, as we saw from yesterday. Once again, Kendrick on that White Fox dives in. Everybody now playing the OK Go comms to perfection. Now going up, Portal is gone. Looking at what they have available, Vicky. Plenty on the defensive front, and Zatex set up for success here to close down any pushback effort.
Yeah, with that Glartrox, Kendrick's going to be able to back away. Also very close to that Camille Unleashed with nobody on the point. They keep up the oppression. They keep up this momentum, and they get that checkpoint. Cart diving down, has the reset potential with the Feast of the Abyss, but doesn't have the potential to get away from Spark Chief, it looks like. But they double ulted Kumiho Unleash as well as Santos with the invisible boundary that may bite them back here because Cooper is close to the invisible boundary themselves. But yes, Liquid Citadel also still in some trouble because Zatex is in the farming simulator right now, clearing more space.
There's the Zatex we were looking for. You got to put that belief in that protect for the Elsa coming up strong. Jitward's got the Devil to let out as well as the Glartrox. Which one will go first? Both of these so important on this. They don't have the portal, but they do have 4 minutes. Here comes the Feast of the Abyss with the pop. No connection and great use of the cooldowns is going to be Citadel Energy with the 1-2 and a rare Winter Soldier appearance. Hello, as Paulie finds another. This was Energy's favorite pick from the past, a Winter Soldier. Playing while you can as well with the next patch coming up, Vic.
I'm rubbing my eyes. What year is it? It feels like it's been forever. Energy, Bucky, and Jitward.
Oh, both
Expander's
together.
Domain, though. Yeah, together they are going to be able to optimize those ultimates. The Glartrox out, too, as Jitward unleashes the Devil, but has to back away, unfortunate. But that was a really good ultimate from Paulie to put in the pressure, forcing Jitward to back away as he gets caught.
Yeah, I don't know about the Devil being let out there. That was like a kitten, but either way, we're going to have the rotation here for Zatex once again, who's been farming on the neutral, and they're just going heavy for him as now all falling again. It's been forever since I've heard this from Energy himself, slamming down that arm. And they farm another. Now, 3 minutes on the clock, though. With how fast they got point one, that's fine. Mistakes can happen, but they use so much of those ults. So now it's this kind of awkward neutral battle for a little bit, Vic, on both sides, really. But yeah, we lost to get that advantage. Have a lot of work to do here in these 2 minutes and 50 seconds to try to get this thing pushing their way.
Yeah, I don't know about you too, Cozy, but when it comes to getting stuck when you're trying to push a cart in this exact angle, the way that Liquid Citadel are playing off angles, too, playing more of that attention, it could be very difficult if you don't really have an opener. And Xantho is the closest to getting that invisible boundary at the very least. Then you see Nero, though, going in from the back line, going to be able to get that shot onto Zatex, who was earlier on popping off. Energy, though, is showcasing what he's got on the Bucky. Finds another victim. Yeah, we lost, unfortunately, just dropping like a line of dominoes.
Yeah, just really resetting, finding out the holes that they did have in their first defensive plan. And again, that's why you see these swaps happen so fast. They know exactly what to go to. These teams that quite, we saw that kind of in the first map there for Yeah, We Lost. They're trying to come up with a plan live in action. Didn't happen. Cart now 80%. Xantho to go as well. They're going to go with the aggressive approach with the Kendrick ult, but Speedery just raining down the entire age of Ultron on top there. Energy looking for more. There's the punch, the uppercut, and trying to get the finish. Oh, low! And the connection and the trade is there. Glartrox as well, but no connection from that. Mask going to find one. Energy just staying alive and farming out the eliminations, going for the top of the leaderboard in the stat line. Mask is going to be out of here.
Energy, they have a family. Mask is the next victim. Jitward tries to go down with the end song Inferno. And with Cart getting the reset off of that ultimate, nobody's really looking at Energy, right? You see the Deadpool from the other side from Mask, but it's just preventing the inevitable with the way that Liquid Citadel are just going to be able to hold up. Energy has a reset, invisible boundary, and these are more members lost from Yeah, We Lost when they only have a minute and less than 10 seconds on the clock.
Yeah, 4 minutes are gone just like that. They did get the pick on the Ultron. That at least opens up something for the team. No, it's going to be Energy now with the Kraken Impact ready to go, and the pick in the neutral as well, Vicky. This is absolutely rough here. It's such a strong opening, but they are a defense that does not break. They absolutely have everything locked and loaded, trying to get a pick here early. I mean, they are just absolutely finding every corridor they're trying to find.
Ooh, again! Let's see, do we get it again? Oh my gosh, the White Fox says, I am out of there. The invisible boundary save as Cooper tries to help enable Energy, but the resets didn't come through. Energy, though, gets the kidnap, isolates the Vanpool. Where can you even go? What are you waving at? I mean, waving at yourself back in the spawn room gates because Energy is too busy having a highlight reel. Speedery then follows up. There's only so much Zatex has to do. Yes, you get the pick off of Nero, but now you're down to the last 10 seconds.
What a young stud. Nobody is safe with Energy when he's locked in all the way. The spectators know it as well as we take a look on it when you've got the damage up with the bots. Energy getting Jitward out of here, smacking the spider against the wall just like that. And that's the stat sheet now as Kendrick does find Paulie, but Cooper continues the trade. No portal in sight. This is overtime, ticking down slowly as Xantho throws up survivability. Kendrick can follow as well, but Nero getting rid of all the sustain that they would have. It's all in the strategist. Nope, they're off the point, Vicky, and goodbye.
Oh, man, that momentum, all that time we bought, just put it in the trash right now because that was just a stomp, too. And I don't think We Lost was expecting... I don't think anybody was expecting Energy to roll out on the Bucky. I mean, we saw it so many times last year. We've seen some changes. You don't really see Bucky right now in the current MRI meta. Meanwhile, Energy's got something else up his sleeve, and the way that they were able to hold that, the split attention that Energy forced in terms of just the pressure, it forced so many bodies of We Lost to put that attention not only onto Energy, but play incredibly split. They actually looked uncomfortable in the pacing that Liquid Citadel put them in.
No, for sure. It's a great call, Vic. I mean, it's like a chess match, right? And if you look at that first point, yes, you know, great chess player is going to adjust just so quickly. You lose a piece early, but what can you do to respond? And that's what TLC did absolutely perfectly. Looking on the offense approach, obviously they could have a hold of a lifetime here, but that point did not budge down the hill ramp-wise. Spark Chief now on the thing. Gonna have some fun here. Energy has such a great hero pool. A lot of Psylocke, obviously. Star-Lord mixed in there. Gonna have always like the meta options, but Winter Soldier, Wolverine, it's like callbacks to the past, as you said. You're looking, Speedery obviously sees card up there. Not gonna be fooled by anybody.
Who are you fooling? Hold on. Who invited him to the party real quick? They called him out. The comms come in. They try to get the kidnap, by the way, as Energy just comes soaring into the sky. We Lost now, trying to hold this defense. They're trying to put in the pressure. Mask, a lot of pressure on Mask's shoulders, too. Oh, he's going to be on the Captain America, Paulie, on the Vanpool. Mask and Cart taking a good chunk of that damage. They try to kite away, but with the pressure from Energy rolling out of the gates with the Wolverine, it's just too much.
Yeah, and they just know. They know they're going to play the triple Vanguard, right? So that's why you go to Wolverine, have it with Energy, and you can just farm it out from there. We're going to go down very early as Atex to follow, so here comes the bus. The wheels on the bus go round and freaking around for Liquid Citadel. We'll see how long they stick with it. You'll see Energy kind of match that as well and counter if needed. Up in the air, Paulie ready to go, pushing in. On the other side, We Lost has a lot of work to do if they want to try to hold this Miracle Point 1.
And Sparkjafe is already getting set up, too, with these Groot walls. Going to be able to provide some of that extra pressure. Calling out Jitward, by the way. Rolling out on that Vanpool with that triple Vanguard that Liquid Citadel called out. Then here comes the dive. It's like one by one as they trickle in. The isolation follows with these Groot walls. Could come in clutch. Paulie does have that Banhammer, though. Going to be able to utilize it. See who they're going to be able to harass on the backline. It's going to be the 1v1 versus Jitward as he falls. Once again, the Vanpool that Paulie displays has just been so detrimental. Almost like the nail in the coffin that Jitward's been having to deal with as the extermination follows up from Speedery.
Yeah, we're seeing that, right? With the cap available, still chooses to go with what a great flexibility and adjustment that is. And for the last-ditch effort, Cart diving in and popping just absolutely instantly, as now Liquid Citadel just needs to make it down this ramp to continue on their absolute dominant performance. Guys, this team has not even shown any will to break against anybody. We Lost in their group, knew this best. Here comes a Galartrox, but it might as well have done nothing as Nero puts a quick silence. The disrespect is unbelievable. It's a Season 7 trailer all over.
As Steve Rogers was out of there until his back, unfortunately, was caught by Nero. We Lost are desperately just trying to cling onto this point, stall for as long as possible, because the finishing box is just right around the corner. Spark gets the finishing blow onto Cart, and it's just a matter of time, but We Lost do have sustainability. They just need to contest.
Just to go into their home town pick and just show absolute dominance. We've seen We Lost look so good on this map time and time again, and they looked lost. I mean, they just did not have an answer whatsoever, and from there is stagger and panic, honestly, is where we felt. But either way, we saw this song and dance before, but hey, it is going to be a best of 3. It was a 2-0 last time, but the fates could change. Energy getting that 29-3 MVP as we take a look at the stats. Vic, and I would say what stands out to you, but man, that's not going to help the stats any. And I love this player. This has been a tough fight so far.
I think the question comes like, are we going to keep seeing Kendrick on the White Fox? Yeah, we see the sustain right there too, but Kendrick in that ultimate has just gotten booted out almost every single time. We also saw like the stun at one point, right when the Kumiho was unleashed. Santos couldn't even get onto the point with the invisible boundary just to keep the stall going. It's difficult because there's also just so much pressure. 14 final hits from Energy. As Energy rolled out on the Bucky, goes over to the Wolverine, fully expecting like the triple Vanguard hold, and tries to stop We Lost, successfully so. And then you have the backup from Pauly too. 8 finals, the follow-up here from Cooper and Nero, the survivability that they have, literally double in terms of what you see from Santos and Kendrick, literally only going down 3 times versus their 6.
Yeah, no, for sure. And honestly, I would have liked to see maybe Card flex out of that because he was just trying to survive at the end there, and that was kind of the rest of that game and so on. And they would pick him off last and so continue on. But y'all, we might have our last matchup of the day. It is 2-0 right now. Liquid Citadel. Don't go anywhere. We're going to take a quick break and then back to the action.
Watch out, they're headed our way. Don't mess with the amazing Spider-Man!
The hunt is on. 1,000 gods!
Alicia's here to steal a win. Good fortune for me. Cat's claws. Me, ouch. Let's make a deal. Peekaboo. Hup. So stealthy.
That's how we do it, Catwalk.
Eat your heart out, strange. Deliciously dangerous.
I unleash the Vishanti.
Now's the perfect time to strike. You crossed my path. Good boy, Petey. Meow.
Hey guys, my name is Ryan Central, and what's the meta? Eventually we will get to a point where you guys in the chat are responding what's the meta with you, but we've got the whole Ignite season to go through. We've finally seen all 4 major regions play now in Pacific Asia, China, EMEA and Americas, all at least debuting in their pre-season. So meta-wise, what has changed? So we have to start with the Glortrox in the room, which is Elsa, who actually fell down a bit in popularity to the point that Gambit is the first time actually overtaken her to be the most powerful, most impactful character in the game. And a lot of people ask me, like, how do you gauge this? How do I know all of this stuff? Well, I have a system that I use with all of the drafts that we've seen across all 225 games. I use this system called threat level, which goes from 1 to 100. 100 being an Avengers level threat, hotly contested, a very influential character when it comes to the draft and compositions of the meta so far. And out of a score up to 100, Elsa's score was 99 after the first week. It could not have gone better for her, but since then it has dropped down to 93, and Gambit's for context is 95, which is sort of stabilized in that point. So this doesn't mean that Elsa was involved in 93% of drafts and 7% of the time she wasn't used. She has been involved in every single game of Ignite so far, other than one, where Rejects and RVLE in Asia Pacific just didn't decide to touch her in draft at all. That's one game out of 225, might I add. A drop in score doesn't mean that she's just not popular or she's not strong. It just means that she's not as contested as much in the start of drafts, which is really where those threatening characters tend to stay. Because Elsa is good in every type of composition, removing her is just a good way to influence the draft more. Anybody can play around Elsa, whether you're playing dive, triple strategist.
Welcome back, everyone, to Marvel Rivals Ignite preseason playoffs. You might have got whiplash watching that one because it was another fast one. It was so fast, in fact, that it killed off Jitwood's internet temporarily, and that's why we had an extended break. But alas, he is back, his internet is fine, and we'll be able to get this third map underway shortly. My question for you, Vicky Kitty. Where on earth do we even go for a third map here if we lost? You've just got beaten on arguably one of your best. Now you're going to be down in the dumps.
Ooh, but it looks like they've gone over to Heart of Heaven. And I just mean, like, guys, the fact that Liquid Citadel still continues on, and I have to always reiterate this with how far we've gone, like, from the preseason group stages, now here, the bracket stage, they have not dropped a single map. And they keep that streak going. And now with Heart of Heaven being a we lost pick, can this be the difference maker, Cozy?
Yeah, I mean, do you listen? I know we glazed TLC a lot, but it's for good reason. Not dropping a map is absolutely crazy. Like, even the best teams have off days, and that's what's so impressive about this. Like, if you look at the roster head to toe, I mean, hey, Gaskin, we've talked about the draft we did a ton when looking at all the players. I think I ended up with like Energy, Melophobia, Valentina, and Nero. But take that team 10 times out of 10. Energy is just oftentimes not talked about enough, and that's what happens when your whole team is talented. But yeah, finding a way to stop them obviously is going to be tough. Heart of Haven going to be their last chance to do so. But Museum of Contemplation, like we've seen, yeah, we lost place to such success there, stopped as well. Like, where do they even go from here, Gaskin, when you're looking at the ban phase?
And that's the thing with, yeah, we lost. I think they are probably feeling a little bit down in the dumps. They're probably in a bit of a rut at the moment. I do think we have to give Jitwood a little bit more freedom as well, but saying that, you know, Team Liquid still are just a team at the moment that seems to have an answer to absolutely everything. One of those teams that have done all of their research, they've done all of their studying, and they are always prepared no matter what is thrown at them. And we'll have to see now whether they can do that just here, right now, in this third and potentially final map between these two teams. But as Shuri said in Black Panther, just because something works doesn't mean it can't be improved. Always expect TLC to be being bigger and better. Guys, take it away.
Well, Vicky, will we have a reverse sweep on our hands, or will the name not be ironic? And yeah, they did in fact lose. Here we go, Gambit and Elsa being off the board. And if you're looking at what is available from this point on, they've kind of stuck with the same thing over and over. Ultron being saved. I don't think we'll get the Ultron ban again. Maybe we do from TLC. But for the second ban, did they just go back to back yet again? The same thing?
You know what I think is even more interesting though, Cozy? I think it's like the first time either of these teams play on Heart of Heaven, so I think that's also like a lean on to the fact that, yeah, we lost or trying to do something different. They protected the Doctors. Okay, I like this because we've seen Liquid Citadel ban the Strange back to back now. It's really bad when it comes to dealing with Museum of Contemplation, how far you have to go. Even though, you know, the spawn room gates were right there beyond the second checkpoint, it's all about momentum and trying to like make plays happen. And at least that's their insurance policy that they needed.
Yeah, but on the first protect is wild, man. Like, I thought, like, the second protect made way more sense. It's like, go Elsa there and then go with the Strange. Oh, and Kendrick, though, with the flag. This makes sense. Kendrick doing the pick and the bans. He's like, I'm getting my Strange. Jeff ban to follow. And now they try to decide who else to save from the quick ban on over. Invis going to be unavailable to them. Last protect here for the team, Vicky. And Mantis, I don't dislike this at all. Obviously, you're not going to have access to that, but I still think Zatex plays a plenty good Phoenix as well. That's what we probably see them shift into.
And that's something maybe Liquid Citadel could keep in mind. Looking at that last ban, it's going to be the Loki. No double strat ult with the God of Mischief, as well as no team up with the Mantis, Loki, and Groot. So with this final protect here, Liquid Citadel, they want to clean this up. They want to keep their perfect record here, Cozy. We're going to have to find out what we're lingering on, as it looks like the protect over onto the Mantis themselves. And even then, too, you look on the other side, and Liquid Citadel have had so much damage output, even without the Mantis. It's going to be the Vanpool, and that's going to be a prio for Pauly, but it's also kind of like a give and take, right? Because you could try to ban the Vanpool like we saw. Yeah, we lost Dew, but then he rolls out on the Steve Rogers.
Yeah, I love Vanpool for this map. It just gives so much different advantage, especially more on the offense side. Not like they need it all too much, but either way, going to get the last ban out over to the Mantis. So with that, they get the save on the Ultron. They shut down some of that strat that they're trying to do. Nero going to go over to the White Fox. So much success there last time. Xantho to match the same. And here we go. A little bit of a different look. Kendrick, in fact, be playing the Namor. Obviously trying to change things up massively. Going back to the team up. It's been a while. We've seen some non-traditional, I would say, over the last couple of weeks stuff here, Vicky. We'll see if they end up locking it in.
Yeah, right. We get the hella Namor team up. Talk about anti-heals for days, by the way, if they do opt to go for the Venom swap at one point. But we're going to be rolling out with Jitward on the Spider-Man. Okay. This is how you know that, yeah, we lost is going to throw everything at Liquid Citadel. I mean, this is literally their last shot before maybe finding themselves in that lower bracket.
Yeah, I mean, we'll see kind of the approach for attack. The old triple duelist comp is definitely a bold strategy on the defensive side, but hey, if they can piece from it, they will. I think they were trying to see, I mean, look at the bad guys, they don't have any. I mean, they got Thor, but oh boy, okay, hold on. The reverse sweep starts right here, folks. Lock in. This is match number 3. These duelists are going to pop off, all 3 of them, refusing to switch like the ranked games I play in at times, but Sparky finally getting to play that rogue.
Listen, the Thor OTPs will be very happy to see how this works out. Talk about all the antis, though, coming in together with Cooper and Energy, following up the verticality, momentum, even shooting the rocket gun to see if they could get anything going here. At least maybe a follow-up, but at least with a BRB, it may just end up allowing another victim to fall. Cooper then follows up. The strats are in shambles, taking a trip to Shambolic Town, and Zatex is the next victim to follow. Liquid Citadel on their speed run to capture this point.
Yeah, so I will, say this. If I am, we lost. Like, sure, that can be the strat, but like every game matters at this level, right? This is still the preseason, so you got to lock in and continue. You got to face this team. You don't want to just hand them millions of dollars in the Americas scene, right? You've got to figure out how to put the thorn in their side, and obviously that defense strategy, if you could call it that, was not the way to go. So I want to see them lock in, reset the mental. We don't know what's going on with the internet and all that stuff, but either way, it is not looking great for this initial push, Vic. But yeah, those first 2 games went quickly, but got to find a will and a way to at least get some practice time in here.
That's another reason why they banned the Mantis too, right? Because Energy just be clicking on heads all day long. It doesn't matter who he's on, and imagine what a damage boosted bucket could do, because Energy is just right now doing so much damage after making that Bucky swap. Second time, by the way, we see Bucky. First time was just the last map. You're going to be able to activate the Banhammer first off, and Sparky going to be able to close in the gap, having that team up together with the Rogue and Gambit very close to the Heartbreaker. Jitward accepting their fate, maybe trying to bait out Spark to be isolated away from the rest of the team. Asleep, though, allows Zatex to get a little bit of revenge onto Energy.
Yeah, Zatex going to open up the door a little bit here as Jitward going to continue to roll and find success as well. It was going to be Sparksheep that was challenging Jitward, but oh my gosh, somehow gets the finish. There's 4 of them, though. TLC, the fattest Agamotto of the night, does not get everybody, but just about. And oh my goodness, it's going to be Xantho with the whole team. Does he take them all down? Is it all 5? The spit out. Oh my God.
Santos said, get down, Mr. President, I got you. But that means you left Zatex alone, and Zatex, showing signs of life, was able to get 2 picks. Now we get the Energy again reset off the Bucky. Cooper is going to come right back around with the Rage and Royal Flush. Zatex could at least bring everybody together, but you have to worry about the anti-heals as Jitward lets the devil out.
Oh, right now is Jitward trying to find something going for him. Paulie goes 1, 2, the third. Wow. It's a Vanguard stealing the show. They're all taking a turn. Showing off now, but hey, this push continuing on. Mass now trying to find some solace in Sanctuary, does not do so. This could be a tough last point to hit, but they've got the portal. Vic, the Strange is there, at least right this second. Here it is, showing quickly. They're going to jump into the point behind it and try to use it as a kind of back coverage. Oh boy.
Oh no, but then no one's going to be able to look at Energy. He was over to the left side. They're just looking at the window of opportunity that was provided from the Doctor Strange portal. No way. And he kind of put it right there on top of the payload. Unfortunate, so it kind of delayed and allowed Liquid Citadel to just get set up on both sides of the portal.
All right, so last point it is for their last chance and stand. 4 minutes, 25 seconds left. Yet we're going to go on over to the duelist pool. Changing things up. Kendrick, though, and Xantho. That has been the combo to watch. They're farming it up as we speak. But I would like to see what Mask can try to offer here. The Thor worked yesterday, Vicky, but just not finding the success today. But Energy has done everything on this side of Winter Soldier. Here they go. Paulie putting in the Q as quickly. Jitward can't even find a second to breathe.
Paulie's insane. Like, we've already known that Paulie was going to shine here in America as he continues to do so. And even with the Thor not working out, they got to look at Energy. Mask at least does isolate Cooper, the trade-off here. And now we get the reset. Run as fast as you can, but you won't get very far. And they allow the reset to keep going again. Tries to get the grapple in. That would have been insane. Still gets the stun temporarily for backing away. But there's all that pressure. I mean, at this point, maybe Mask being the mightiest Avenger could also be playing for the vibes with, yeah, we lost, just trying to get some momentum going. Kendrick does have that Eye of Agamotto.
Absolutely disgusting. Energy's just playing on a Kovacs aim trainer over here. as now Speedery finds 1, 2, 3 with the Spark Chief, and they are just pushing this thing on overdrive. Rockets attached to this slow-moving turtle dragon statue thing. There it is. Third point gonna be Cats. And that was, I was gonna say that was textbook, but that was what everyone says, light work for Liquid Citadel.
Cozy, 3 minutes and 7 seconds. 3 minutes. Like, even with some of the plays and picks that they were able to get, it's kind of goes back to what we were saying, the transition into game 1 into game 2, where they just seem very uncomfortable playing now at Liquid Citadel space. It's almost like a taste of their own medicine that YWL has been putting down onto a lot of the other teams that, you know, have had to deal with these unorthodox compositions coming out from YWL when they force the opposition to play at their pace.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, and listen, as the sole believer in this team yesterday, it just pains to see, like, if we're going to keep it a bug, I don't know what the hell was going on, what the hell was going on with that first comp, right? Like, that defense is so important to have. You got the Strange Protect too, so you can maybe stall it out, and it was just like, I don't know what was going on there. I mean, they were an Og mode and a Jeff ult away from that just being a disaster. But yes, listen, they can show some fight here. Attack is ready. Matt's going to go on over to the thing. Zatex on Punisher. We've seen Zatex on Punisher way long ago. Not as of recent. Jitward with the question mark above the head. I don't know if that's the internet or trying to decide what they want to roll with. What do you think?
I mean, hopefully it's not the internet. We're talking about getting hardwired here. I mean, the Jitward special, maybe he goes over onto the Spider-Man. It was just lingering on that decision. And let's see if maybe they could do something different here. Kendrick's going to start things off with the portal play to try to get onto the high ground. Jitward makes the swap over to the dual pool. We did see him try to go over to the dual pool just a little bit. He takes a lot of damage, though, before diving back down. He has that ultimate online just as Deadpool gets so quickly. Whoa. And you can see the pressure, though. Momentum is the first victim. Zatex to follow. Does have that sustain, while Mask pulls him right outside the other mouth of the portal, isolating Spark and at least finding that pick.
Yeah, the pick's there, but nothing else to follow. We just continue to see these great strategists kind of hide when needed back there and then push the W as well. Cooper running Xantho out of this thing and just farming it up. Pauly's got the ult as well, so expect to dive back in there. Most likely target going to be Xantho as they reset, reload. Nero just absolutely, look at this. Momentum is just devastating from the top rope. But the sprays from Pauly as usual. Here we go as Matt's going to throw in, try to get them off this high ground, off this advantage. Pauly going to go in and throw down the banhammer. No, going to be the other side.
And you also have to consider just having to deal with so much of the sustainability that Team Liquid Citadel have. Talk about also the communication. They're calling out where Mask is. Pauly's going to be able to isolate Zatex. While everybody is falling down on the low ground, they don't really have the space being bought out, as Matt's having to split their attention to get on top of the rooftop. And now Pauly taking some selfies. The camera roll is full before backing away. He's still getting powered up, and Spark does have that Heartbreaker as well as Speedery with the extermination.
All right, 2 minutes, 27 seconds, and they've got the combo. They kind of opened up at least the play the last time, but Energy going to go and throw up the Legendary. He's been a legend tonight, and he continues to feast and farm. Spark Chief, though, wants to continue their reign on the Southern BA now, as once again, Xantho trying to get the play opened up for the team. Going to quickly go down. It's Jeff going to be left hungry, sent back to spawn.
Turned him into some sushi, too, while they were at it without having to expend much of anything, honestly. It's just really Energy, the Galactic Legend that came through, and it's the fact that Liquid Citadel aren't even doing the combo. Cooper, obviously here on the Gambit, getting some nice antis. The Rage and Roll Flush is now online, and that's going to be a lot of damage to worry about when Speedery also uses his ultimate.
Just like that, going to go ahead and continue on the reign. Cooper, Nero, everybody getting a piece of the pie. This has been the staple tonight, folks. I cannot remember an Ignite game like this one-sided. If I'm being honest, Vicky, has just been absolute clutch performance after performance from TLC. But again, this is the preseason for a reason, as it looks towards ahead of Swamp Gaming versus this great team. But they got to lock in for the finish. Job's not done yet. Energy looking for more. Finds the Gambit ult to follow. Spins the win. Zatex gone. Jitward, goodbye. Slaps Peter Parker right back to the spawn as well. And Vicky, this is... oh, man. This is what we can just call the Citadel special.
Do you match the triple strat at this point? Like, you have to throw something different. The sustainability is too much, and they're all peeling for one another. I see what we had Mask do, just trying to split more attention than Energy for free. Sees, all right, well, no one's going to touch the point. He's just staring at them Cold Stone in the face, just looking at we lost. Who can't even get out of the spawn room gates? No way.
Oh boy. Yeah, this is it's a first, but here we go. They're gonna try to go ahead. Mouse just taking all the damage. Doesn't even get the strat to get the ult stuff. Just goes right back in the spot. Energy jumps off the map. The trolling's insane at this point. Speedery finds one. Mask, Nero, Zatex. What the hell is going on here? As now pushing forward, trying to get this point capped. It's 3 of them on it. Paulie pokes one. Cooper with the other. It is quite literally playing with their food. Paulie's still alive here. Going to get a shotgun hit. It's going to be Zatex yet again. And the judge and the jury come out together. Jitward trying to get this Ultron out of here. Vicky, what do you think?
Wait a minute. I mean, maybe Energy dropping himself off the map was at least the tool that they needed here. I saw just probably 1v5ing everybody, and with that mistake, we lost. They keep this going. Jitward got the isolation onto the Ultron. Mask going over to the Thing. May not have that same mobility that the Thor has, but you get to play much more close quarters here and trying to delete at least the triple strat and protection that we keep seeing from Liquid Citadel. And Energy said, enough having fun. I'm going right over to the Bucky.
It's a bold strategy. I mean, what are we at? It's like the Thing taking the hits to the helmet. Everybody watching like, come on, it's late. What are we seeing here as Jitward flies in, flies out, trying to get more energy, hooks him in, gets him in. Good God.
No way.
The disrespect of the quick pop and finish. Paulie finds momentum. Spark Chief versus Kendrick on the Hulk. Everything's coming out of the bag. It's like mystery heroes at this point. Energy, Nero finding 1, 2 more. Minute 30 seconds left. Spark Chief. We'll see if they do the bold strategy yet again of Energy jumping off. Vicky, what do you think?
I think that this is looking like some of our ranked games, I ain't gonna lie, but it kind of goes back and forth like this, and you try to split some attention so that way you can try to bring the fight up on the high ground of the bridge, maybe get some neutral progress off the turtle statue. Jitward's upset. He swaps over to Hawkeye. And Kendrick goes over to the Black Panther. It's been a long time, by the way, since I've seen this. But this is, we lost. They got to go in right now. This is their tournament lives in the winner's bracket on the line. Speedery now with the extermination. The Rager Royal Flush. Talk about the extra damage as the It's Jeff from We Lost does come out. They isolate the White Fox back into the spawn room.
No, not
that's going to be an auto KO.
Not this.
No
No, sorry, there's the blade there too. I mean, in a moment we're gonna get Black Widow in this thing. We're gonna find another one as Cooper goes down. NG Paulie trade. 34 seconds left. Seeing a Hawkeye's a rare appearance right now. Zatex throws down. Energy finds 1, 2 with the uppercut. Zatex trades. Energy with another and yells again like the wins they've gotten on this team. 18 seconds left. The farming simulator continues. What in the hook? And the team still stands still. Vicky.
All I hear is again, and I just want justice for Iron Man. But you know what? Jitward at least gets another pick. Well, Energy is farming once again. Zatex and Kendrick can't play the game. No one can touch onto the point. I'm not going to lie. Jitward was cooking on the Hawkeye, but I don't think it was going to last very long.
Not the Hawkeye highlights. Not the Hawkeye highlights. That was going to be it, y'all. It is Liquid Citadel 3-0-ing. Yeah, we lost with Energy yet again as our MVP tonight, folks. Obviously, a lot of the heat and chaos was at the beginning of the day, and what a way to have things wrap up on day number 2. As we look and take a look at the stats, Vicky, I don't even know if you can look at the stats on some of it. I want to see where's Mask, and I want to look at damage block. Yeah, 31,000. That was like 30,000 of that was to the head of the helmet of the Thing half the time. Gaskin looks nearly speechless as I take a look at him on our cams. Gaskin, what do you think?
Oh my.
What in the Nick Fury Avengers did I just witness of every single hero being thrown to try and stay alive? I don't even know what happened. You know, usually I prefer casting, but I think in that one, I'm glad I took a back seat. I just got to eat the popcorn, watch what was unfolding onto my screen, and I think it was just a case of they accepted that TLC are just too good. It did feel like, we lost, gave up, and it became a bit of a troll match. Let's call a spade a spade. All that matters is Team Liquid Citadel will be progressing with a 3-0 victory into the winners final, and we lost. Will be sending themselves down to the lower bracket. Just seems like we have a clear gap in Americas right now. We have two teams who are head and shoulders above the rest, and everyone else is currently playing catch up. But I mean, Vicky, is it that case for Yeah We Lost where they look at this team and they say, look, we're just not quite there yet for Liquid Citadel, and it's back to the drawing board for them?
I think it also goes hand in hand with maybe the fact that they can't scrim against Team Liquid Citadel, right? Because they said it in their interview that a lot of teams don't want to scrim them because maybe some teams just don't take it serious with the compositions that they roll out with. And when you do not get the ability to practice against a team like Liquid Citadel, you saw what happened, right? Like the Mystery Heroes came out, Liquid Citadel were having fun there too. By the end, Yeah We Lost didn't even have a Vanguard, and everyone was wondering like what was gonna happen here. Like they're literally just trying everything possible, and it was desperation for the first time that we saw from Yeah We Lost.
Now, Cozy, you were the only person that backed Yeah We Lost yesterday, and rightfully so. They played incredible, and they deserve their position here today. Where do you think they go from here, though, now dropping into this lower bracket? Do you think that they will have a fantastic time down there? Like, do you think they'll have more of a fun time than they just had in that matchup?
Yeah, I think Jitward's about to hit the rank queues for about 10 hours at least minimum. That's going to happen. I just expect that. But listen, one of the players had one of the most bold strategies I've seen in Ignite as Star-Lord decided to jump off the map. And they're the player that we're interviewing right here, right now, Gaskin. It is
energy. That was an interesting end to the game, which I'm sure we'll get to a little bit later. But before we do, congratulations on a 3-0 victory. You're moving into the winners final. The team must be pretty happy with that performance. It looked like you didn't even break a sweat.
Yeah, it was good. I think we prepared pretty well against Yeah We Lost from the last time. So yeah.
Did you expect a little bit more from them? Like, was it too easy? Like, did you expect them to come out with something that would maybe challenge you a little bit more?
No, I mean, I think we had them pretty read from last time and from seeing them play against NRG and Protect Strange. So we just like banned it second phase and it was pretty easy.
Not the no energy. What's up, King, man? Good to see you, bud. Glad to finally get to interview you again. It's always fun to connect. Listen, man, I don't know what patch it was, but Winter Soldier got nerfed, and I remember seeing your tweet, and you're like, GG, it's done. And then you bring out our first Winter Soldier yet again. Man, tell me about just your flexibility as a duelist in your journey. I think you are just not talked about enough, and how you try to always stay ready for the meta. Like Black Cat's coming out, I'm sure that's going to be added. If I were to take a guess, I guess that can lean towards Speeder as well. But talk to me about what you've evolved into as a duelist, just being able to play what the team needs from me.
Yeah, playing Bucky was definitely a feeling again. I feel like that character is like really slept on. Sadly, he got nerfed again in the next patch, so hopefully he's playable. But yeah, I think I'm pretty flexible. I play like most of the characters other than Daredevil, and I'm like trying to pick it up, but it's just kind of little different from the aiming characters.
Was that Star-Lord off the map a bold strat? What was take us behind the scenes on that one? I was trying to read your mind there a little bit.
So I was going Hulk to diff Kendrick, and they took advantage and took the point. Long story short. So.
Awesome.
All right, Mr. 25 finals. Also, like, you saw how all these games were going throughout EMEA and Americas, and you guys decided to keep us back on schedule because it is 1:30 a.m., by the way, on the East Coast. So, looking ahead at your bracket, though, you guys will be facing off against Swamp Gaming. We actually got to talk to Valentina in the interview. She was incredibly nice, hyping you guys up, too. A lot of respect. In that upper bracket final, I'm going to assume you guys have been going back and forth when it comes to scrims, and we only put so much stocks into the scrim bucks. How are you guys feeling against Swamp Gaming right now with how they've looked? Because at the moment, you guys are literally unstoppable. You guys have not dropped a single map, whereas Swamp Gaming, they have dropped one map, so they look a little bit more mortal, but still on top after looking at group stages and now the bracket stage.
Yeah, I have a lot of respect for Swamp. A lot of their players are really good. I think they're definitely the second best in the region. I think we're best right now, though. So playing tomorrow, I think it'll be a really good game, but I still think we're going to come out on top.
And is the expectation, Energy, that you face Swamp in upper bracket final, you beat them, do you think they would then make it to the grand final? Or do you think there's maybe someone in that lower bracket who could surprise us and make a run?
I mean, I think more than likely they'll make it to the grand final. But if it was to be someone, I think it'd just be 100 Thieves. I feel like if they figure out their strengths, they can definitely beat them. But I think recently they've been just like falling behind a bit.
Listen, Energy, you've been here before, right? I want to talk to you about this because you've been on a team that, again, it's like you guys were the favorite. It was done and dusted. And then all of a sudden, like, what happened? This is the preseason, though, and obviously different team, different story. But want to ask, like, as you're trying to use this preseason to get better and better, what are some things you guys are focusing on as a team to utilize the preseason, obviously, as you guys are looking so dominant?
For the most part right now, I think it's just playing our best in every game, whether it's just scrims or a league game. And I mean, yeah, I think that's the main thing. I think bans we have down, our coaches are really good at it, Legit and Gator. So just improving our individual like skill and hero pools, that, and then the comm structure. I think it's gotten a lot better from the first game of preseason.
Awesome.
All right, Energy. So you've been always like this young gun player that we've always highlighted with your skill, and you get slotted into this all-star team here. Can you talk to the viewers at home who may want to try to follow in your shoes on how they could try to put themselves out there as well, and how they could get better, improving in their own gameplay, so that way we can even see that next generation of talent rise up too?
Yeah, I think the main thing is connections. So if you're trying to start out on a team, just play ranked and make connections, make friends. And like that's how I got on my first team and how I've gotten to where I am now. So I think that's probably the most important thing in trying to become a great player.
I mean, you've definitely made those connections and you're definitely a great player, Energy. Appreciate your time with the interview today. Best of luck tomorrow in that upper bracket final. I'm sure that you will put on a fantastic show for us. Thank you.
Yep, thank you guys for having me.